Bobby freaking Knuckles, man. UFC Saudi Arabia, very solid main card. Bobby Knuckles came back and made a statement. A lot of stuff happened. Let's just dive right into it and talk about it. So this was, of course, supposed to be Whittaker, Khamzat, super highly anticipated fight. And of course, this isn't on that level with Aliskerov, but nonetheless, Whittaker showed up and he had to do his thing no matter what. But Whittaker was coming into this fight with a tough position because if he wins, it's like, how much do you gain from that? Like, he doesn't know, right? And then if he loses, then it's really bad. You just lose to an unranked Aliskerov. Whittaker was locked in from the gate and just basically just destroyed Aliskerov before he could get anything going. It was a pitch perfect performance for Whittaker. Whittaker was able to get reads off him and learn his patterns early on, hurt him, and then it was done just like that. In hindsight, of course, it's like, okay, Whittaker, should have done that. But at the time, it's like, we don't know what Aliskerov is going to bring. Short notice opponent, is he going to be tough on Whittaker? Like, we don't know what's going to happen. What Whittaker showed in this performance is, of course, the levels that he has and then the difference in levels between him and Aliskerov, and it was big. Big credit to Aliskerov for taking this challenge, and then huge credit to Whittaker for taking this opponent, switch up last minute, and then demolish him like that. His stock goes up. He's now on a winning streak. And now he's right in title picture. Like, he's right in that range now. Whittaker has just shown that he's one of those guys that is not going away easy. Even if he loses, he's going to come back. He's going to stay in the mix. And then now we have it. He's right back. So the options right now are being the backup fighter for Izzy DDP. Dana said that he liked that idea. Whittaker was somewhat open to it, but wasn't sure. A big one that everyone's literally talking about right now, which would be Strickland versus Whittaker. Maybe even doing that in Perth on the same card, kind of setting it up that way. The winner of that fight gets, the winner of Izzy DDP. The thing is, though, is Strickland willing to do that? He said he wants to wait and that he deserves to get the title shot next. He shouldn't have to take another fight no matter what. But maybe is he willing to change his mind? It's against Whittaker. It's a great matchup that everyone wants to see as well. And that would surely then put you into the title fight. But then let's say he does agree to do it. Would he want to do it in Perth? It could be too soon for him. It depends right now. But if Strickland doesn't want to fight Whittaker and then Whittaker becomes a backup fighter, they might just push him over Strickland, even though, funny enough, Strickland has had better performances than Whittaker against both DDP and Izzy. But overall, for Robert Whittaker, this just shows if you take the opportunity, even though it's against a lesser opponent, the fact that you're willing to do it and then have a performance like that really boosts up your stock. Of course, this was supposed to be Khamzat, and that on paper is supposed to be way better than a fight against Aliskerov or anybody else who's unranked. But the fact that he still showed up and then finished him that quickly, that immediately puts your stock up. And it sucks because you're just thinking, what if it was Khamzat? Seeing this Whittaker against Khamzat, like, what would have happened? But in regards to Khamzat and when he will return, Dana said maybe they'll try to fit him in with the Abu Dhabi card in August if he's healthy enough and can do it. So that maybe kind of shows where they think Khamzat is right now. I feel like it might be a bit soon just based on how it seemed. It was, Khamzat he seemed pretty bad. But Abu Dhabi would be, pretty good. It's just a matter of like, who is Khamzat going to face in Abu Dhabi? If they can put him in there, I think that would be great. Because of course, waiting longer again for Khamzat, it sucks. Bobby Knuckles takes advantage of the opportunity. He's right back in the mix, and things are kind of wild in the middleweight division now. Then we go to Pavlovich and Volkov, and it was interesting to see what Pavlovich we were going to see. Was it going to be the guy that's just, berserking in and throwing tons of punches and knocking guys out early? Or is he going to be a bit more reserved because he just got knocked out by Tom Aspinall? Looking at his training videos and photos, people, thought that this could be a revamped Sergei. He's going to be like back better than ever. He's looking massive and ripped. And I was kind of looking at that too. I'm like, okay, damn, like he's looking in real good shape. Like he might be coming with that energy. And we go into this fight, and immediately he was struggling with the length of Volkov. And that was pretty much the story of the fight. Volkov was able to keep it at range and really pick apart Sergei Pavlovich, and he really couldn't, at most of the fight, couldn't get inside and do much damage to Volkov. And he clipped him, a couple times here and there, but he's not throwing multiple punches. He's not throwing combos. And that was really the story as the fight progressed. Volkov was able to throw, 1, 2, 3, 4 punches and kicks at a time, was able to mix it up, and Pavlovich really couldn't. He wasn't, able to do that. Now, is that partly because of the Tom Aspinall fight? He wanted to be more reserved, save his energy against Volkov, this opponent? Or was it just because he felt more timid because he didn't want to get into a firefight and then, get hurt again? I don't know. For me, I think it's more of a matchup issue, the length and range from Volkov, more than maybe him mentally from that Tom Aspinall fight, because it was just such a quick fight. I doubt that's the reason, but it's possible. And then this fight itself was a little weird because the way it was made, Volkov thinking that Sergei already said yes. Sergei was told that Volkov was already down, and they both kind of had this feeling that like, okay, if the other guy's down, I'll do it. And it seemed like the UFC basically told each guy that the other one was down so then they could make the fight. Like that's kind of what it seemed like. And that kind of brewed some drama. And then even afterwards, Sergei was not happy and pushed Volkov, which of course, wasn't a cool thing to do. Like the fight's over, you had your chance to do your thing. This was your chance to kind of settle any kind of beef or misunderstanding. After the fight, you think they maybe talk it out more, but I get it. Heat of the moment, he pushes him. It wasn't cool, but I don't think it's that deep either. But it does suck because these guys did train together and work together so much, and it seemed like neither of them really wanted to have this fight unless it was for like a big title eliminator or title fight. And it seemed like there was just a lot of miscommunication there, which led to this beef. We'll see if it kind of gets hashed out. And with Volkov, he says, like, I don't really have an issue. It's really Pavlovich right now. So if he wants to, work this out, that's on him. He's got to come to me and, fix this because I'm kind of done with it. And in terms of what's next for him, it could be possibly the Gane rematch. It could be Ankalaev, and then the winner gets, the shot with Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blades, that winner. Those things can happen because with Jones and Stipe, that fight's still a while from now. And then after that, they're going to need some time before the next one, assuming that, Jones doesn't retire if he wins. Because Stipe is probably going to retire, definitely going to retire if he wins. So lots of opportunity coming up for Volkov. And then for Pavlovich, it's kind of time to revamp now. Lost 2 in a row. Time to look at things differently. Maybe change your camp up a bit, change your strategy, and, hopefully we'll see a resurgence of Sergei Pavlovich because when he's rolling, it's amazing to watch. And then we go to the Kevin Gastelum fight. And this was wild because leading up to the fight, he says he's going to miss weight. They renegotiate, they work it out. But the fact that he knew he was going to miss weight, and then the commentary was kind of talking about it too. Was there some strategy in that plan, right? Was there, a strategy for Gastelum to kind of have an advantage there, kind of time that weight miss so then D-Rod won't be able to kind of properly come up, and then, Gastelum has an advantage. And then you look at his YouTube channel and he has a whole segment called Missing Weight with Kevin Gastelum, and he's just eating a bunch of food. And it's just like, this is a wild look before the fight even starts. He said it wasn't intentional or anything like that, but it just wasn't a good look. But what did look good was him in the fight. Of course, he had some power, but he also had cardio too. And usually if you're like noticing that you're going to miss weight, that's usually a sign that you weren't preparing properly. But the way that he looked in there, he looked phenomenal. So that's why it makes you think, was this kind of like a plan all along? I don't know. But he looked great in there. He pieced up D-Rod. It was a good scrap and a great win for him. But then it's like the whole weight situation, that's kind of the problem. Because are you going to be at this weight class or this one, right? And Dana White clearly was frustrated after. He's like, yeah, I'm not happy right now. And that's why Calvin afterwards was like, sorry guys, sorry, I'm super. Like he apologized to the max as he knew Dana and the squad was not happy. Because now you win this fight, but it's like, okay, what do we do with you now? Where do we put you? Granted, at this point in his career, I don't think that matters that much because you just want to give him some good fights, etc. But for D-Rod, it kind of sucks because he was kind of put in that situation. And of course, he wants to still fight. But it was definitely a weird situation. And I don't think he'll be able to get away with that again. Then we go to Shara. And of course, he looked phenomenal on the feet, piecing up Trocoli. And his takedown defense on the fence was really solid. Although it was more of stalling. He couldn't really get out of the position that fast. But he was probably trying to save energy, etc. But then, what shadows that amazing performance is the blatant fence grab that easily would have led to a takedown. And who knows what would have happened after that, etc. Would he have been more worn down? Would he have been able to strike the way he did afterwards, etc. If he wasn't allowed to get away with that. And granted, the ref gave him a warning, but usually if it's that bad of a fence grab, you got to either take points away or give Trocoli the position that he was going to get, which would have been, on top of Shara. Instead, they just warn him and then, he doesn't get the takedown. And now and that contributed to him losing energy. Granted, I don't know what would have happened, but that is a terrible situation for him and unfair. But overall, he did what he was supposed to do and did it phenomenally, right? I just don't think he should be going super high up in levels, right away. Then we go to Walker versus Ozdemir, and Johnny Walker is just that guy. He's either going to have a wild KO or get wildly KO'd, and it's going to become like a meme-like knockout. He can't just lose normally. It has to be in some wild fashion every time. And he really didn't get going at all. He just got pieced up right from the get and then finished. I think it's clear, at least right now, that he is just not going to be at the top level of his division. For Ozdemir, though, his stock's going to go up from this. Walker's a big name guy. A lot of people like him. You get a lot of attention from that. Can he take advantage and keep the momentum rolling? So those are my thoughts on the main card. Let me know what you thought about it. For me, the main card was, obviously the best part of this Saudi fight night. Let me know what you thought about the Saudi fight night, the crowd, etc., the fights that were made. What do you think about Bobby Knuckles, that whole situation? Let me know your thoughts. Talk to me in the comments below. Peace out.